yesterday I thought I would just like really quickly start grabbing some books off my shelf to unhaul, and I was slightly surprised with the amount that I actually have in this stack. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be an unhaul. I have lots of books on my shelf that have been sat unread, and that is the majority of what these are. It's just, I know I'm not going to read them, so why are they taking up room? I am becoming more and more aware of how much room I actually have on my shelves, and I'm not actually buying as many books as I used to, but I'm still feeling like I have no space for the amount of books I have coming in, which isn't actually that many anymore. So I just really needed to get rid of some of these, and that is what we're going to do today. I broke it into a few sections, and I'm just going to tell you about the books I'm getting rid of and briefly why I'm getting rid of them. I will do the disclaimer that everyone always does when they do these videos. If you really like these books, that's great. I, for whatever reason, am choosing not to keep them. Like I said, a lot of them are books that I just don't have any interest in reading anymore. Some of them are books that I have read and just don't love them enough to keep them on my shelves. But none of them are books that like I absolutely hated, I don't think. So I'm like not saying anything bad about you if you do like these books. I am just choosing not to keep them myself. Anyway, disclaimer over and done with. Let's just start talking about the books that I am getting rid of. Like I said, I broke it into a couple of sections. So we'll start off with the ones that I just haven't read and don't really have any interest or see myself picking them up at any time soon. So they're gonna finally disappear, because most of these I've owned for multiple years now. I think pretty much all of these ones maybe like before the pandemic started, so that's how many years we're talking. It's been a while. So these are sort of in no particular order, they are just how I picked them off my shelves. And the first one is The Names They Gave Us by Unread. I had a couple of copies of this one on my shelves at one point because I bought one myself, and then there's a website called Readers First where basically it's a way of getting early copies of things. You read the first couple of chapters of a book, they put like new ones out every week, and you do a review of those first few chapters, and then they pick so many people that have done those reviews to get a copy of the book. Usually it's like a finished copy, it's about like a month before the book comes out. And I didn't actually request this one because I already had it, but I requested something else, and when you first joined up it was like, oh, we'll send you a book just because, and it's like one of their previous titles, and it was this one. I'm like, well, I already have this, so I already got rid of one copy and then I kept this one on my shelf, and it's just like, it's a YA book that is not the type of YA book that I'm looking for right now. I don't really know like the specifics of it, but I had a glance in the back and I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to be reading this anytime soon. So I think the fact that I've had 2 copies and not read it, and it came out in 2017, is really telling me something about the fact that I don't actually want to read this book. The next one that we have is another one that has been sat on my shelf since it came out, and this one came out in 2018, and it is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. And this, I believe, is a fantasy Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it sounded interesting at the time, but again, have just not picked it up. Do not see myself picking it up. There is more books in this series now, and that means I'd have to buy more books, and I'm just like, no, if I've not read it in what, 6 years now, since 2018, I think it's time to get rid of it. Another one, I'm just going to keep looking at the publishing dates for these ones. Another 2018 one is Taste of Blue Light by Lydia Ruffles. I bought this one as soon as it came out. I got it on a buy one get one half price table at Waterstones. As always happens in a lot of these unhaul videos for me, it's ones that were on offer and I bought them just because. Have no interest, don't really know what it's about. The synopsis doesn't tell you much about it. Not going to read it, so might as well get rid of it. This next one is one that I bought because I'd heard good things about this author from one of their other books, and then I think my mum was actually interested in reading this one, and I think my mum might have read it actually. So it's not been completely unread, but I haven't read it, and it's been in my house since 2021 apparently, and that one is The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris. Again, I just know that it's not something that I'm going to be reaching for anytime soon. It's been on my shelf long enough, I might as well give someone else a chance to read it. Then we have one, this one's more recent. This one came in a fairy loot box, and I probably wouldn't have bought it myself, and that's why I've not really picked it up. It's actually not that recent, it's 2021 as well, and it is Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. Like I said, was one that I did not particularly want to get separate to it coming in a fairy loot box as like a bonus book, so there's no point in me really having it in my house just for the sake of it. Then we have one that I feel like I was really interested in at the time and then never picked it up, and this one is from 2016. You can see how old these ones are, and it is The Graceless by Laura Eve. Again, just cannot really tell you what it's about, and just do not see myself picking it up, so it's gonna go. I'm saying the same thing over and over again because that is basically the reason I'm getting rid of all of these. Like I said, all of the ones that I haven't read, it's literally just like there is nothing drawing me to them. I still have a few more, so let me just get through the last bit of this pile. So the next one is one that actually I did pre-order this one because this is like the Waterstones special edition with sprayed edges, but it's also from 2021 and I still haven't read it. And I know the sequel's come out since then, and again it would mean I'd have to buy more books to read it, so probably not going to do that. And that is Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. Just not something that I think I'm going to pick up, so that one's going as well. Then we have got Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen, another one that I got on a buy one get one half price still. I feel like I heard about it online, but then it's been in my house since 2020 and have not read it, so it's going. We see the theme. And then we have got Anna K by Jenny Lee. This one I have had since 2020 as well. Also have felt no urge to read it, so we'll get rid of that one. And then the last one on here, this is probably one of the older ones again. This one's from 2018. This is All the Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Klefoth. This is one that I have thought about getting rid of multiple times and then keep not getting rid of it, but then also keep not reading it. So let's actually finally get rid of it. So those were the books that I have not read, not sort of read anything by those authors. Don't see myself reaching for them, and they all dated from what, 2016 to 2021, so nothing particularly recent in there. It's just ones that I've clung to for some unknown reason, and I'm finally actually being ruthless and getting rid of them. So that is that stack. The next stack of books I'm going to do is ones where I have read a book or multiple books by these authors. Some of them I'm actually getting rid of the books that I've read and then also getting rid of one that I haven't read, so it's a bit of a mix. So the first one I'm actually just getting rid of the one that I haven't read because I've already got rid of the one that I have read, and that is This Poison Heart by Galen Bayron. I read Cinderella is Dead and I did not love it, but I'd already bought this one at the time, so I got rid of Cinderella is Dead because I didn't enjoy it, but I thought I would still give this one a try. And again, I just don't find myself gravitating towards reading it. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it, so I might as well just get rid of it rather than keeping it just because I bought it. And then we have ones where I'm basically getting rid of a book that I have read and then books that I haven't read. So the first one being from the author Kira Smith. So I have the Falling in Love montage and I have Not My Problem. I have read the Falling in Love montage. I enjoyed it enough, but it wasn't enough to then make me want to pick up more books from her, but I already had to, so I've just again had this one on my shelf and not felt a pull to pick it up because I didn't particularly love this one. It was like a 3-star, it was fine, it just wasn't my favourite, so might as well get rid of both of them. Then we have ones I actually did enjoy. These first 2 books that I read by this author, the author is Nick Stone. I enjoyed Dear Martin and Dear Justice. It really annoys me that these covers don't match, which is part of the reason why these are going, as well as one that I just don't see myself picking up anytime soon, and that is Odd One Out. This is another one that I've had on my shelf for years and haven't read, so I'm just going to get rid of all 3 because I don't see myself ever wanting to reread these necessarily, and like I said, the covers don't match anyway, so it just irritates me every time I look at my shelf. Then we've got 2 by Jem Wild. So I've got Queens of Geek, which is one that I did read and I did enjoy at the time. I don't think it's the sort of thing I would like now. And then we had The Brightsiders, which I bought pretty much as soon as it came out and then just never picked it up. But like I said, I don't think I would enjoy this one if I read it now, so I don't think I'm going to enjoy this one either. Like, the cover is just very much not giving the vibe of book that I would enjoy, so I might as well get rid of them both because there's no reason for them to be taking up space on my shelves. And that actually is the end of that little section. I just realised the next section is series that I will not be continuing. So whereas those ones were ones where I'd read one but it was sort of unrelated, these ones are actually series where I have sequels and I've decided that I don't want to finish these series for whatever reason, so I'm getting rid of the ones that I've read and then the ones that I haven't read as well. I feel like these are the ones where I'm more likely to get people to tell me to no, carry on and give them a try, but I'm pretty much convinced that I am getting rid of these. So I mean, you can try if you want to in the comments, but like I'm getting rid of all these books. So the first ones are my books by Joe Abercrombie. So I read the first book in this series, which was The Blade itself, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I was buddy reading it with Lisa and Meg, and then I never continued the buddy read. I was sort of, they were doing the buddy read at a time where life just got very, very busy. It was earlier on this year, or last year. I keep getting my dates mixed up, but anyway, I just did not have sort of like the mental energy to carry on with it. And then I've seen people carrying on with the series and not particularly loving it, so that has also put me off reading it, and I've decided, you know what, I just don't think I am actually going to continue. So I will also be getting rid of the other 2, which is Before They Are Hanged and Last Argument of Kings, because these don't need to be taking up room on my shelves if I really do not see myself ever continuing with it. It's such a commitment as well, because like this is a trilogy, but there are loads more books within this world. It feels so daunting even just having these ones on my shelves. Then the next series we've got, I actually own the first two in this series. I've read one. There are three altogether. It's a trilogy. So the one that I've read being The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, the one that I haven't read being The Girl in the Tower. I read this 2 years ago now, and again I sort of enjoyed it enough, but not enough to draw me into reading the second one anytime soon. And I've realised that I've actually probably forgot a fair amount of what's happened in this, so I'd need to reread it anyway, and I don't really want to reread it, so I think I'm just going to call it a day on this series. I really wanted to like this series, but sadly it just wasn't for me. I don't even remember why, which is like also very telling about it, that I just don't remember. I just remember that I've read it. And then the last series that I've started, not finished, but I'm getting rid of, is going to be Amari and the Night Brothers, Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston. I did actually quite enjoy Amari and the Night Brothers, but again, like I bought this one last year, have not read it. I'm not a huge middle grade reader, and I feel like I was just reading it because everyone else was talking about how good it was at the time, and while I had a good enough time, I don't see myself committing for a whole series. This one has just been sat staring at me, so I might as well just get rid of them both, and hopefully someone who will enjoy them will end up with them eventually. And then we have two more types of books to talk about. So the next one being ones where actually I am keeping the books later than this in the series or by the author, because I do still want to read those, but I know that I'm probably going to get rid of those as soon as I've read them as well. So I'm just sort of preemptively unhauling the earlier books. One is in a series and one is just books by an author. So let's start with the ones that's just books by an author. So I am going to be getting rid of The Gravity of Us and As Far As You'll Take Me by Phil Stamper. I have enjoyed both of these enough. The Gravity of Us, I think I gave 4 stars, and it's probably more like a 3.5 thinking about it. It was good, but there were definite things that I was like, I think this is the debut, and I feel like you could tell that like there were just things that needed to be worked on, and I really hope that second book would be better. They're not connected, they're just standalones, but you know, like writing style improves. And there are bits of that in As Far As You'll Take Me, but I still didn't love it. I think I actually enjoyed this one less than I enjoyed The Gravity of Us. And I do have another book by this author, which I should check the name of it. Is it Golden Boys? Have just checked the name. It is called Golden Boys. So I do have that one to read, and that one's the one that like the storyline of that does still intrigue me enough to keep it. But I think even if I like that one, I won't necessarily want these ones on my shelf, so I'm just going to preemptively get rid of these. And then the other one that I'm getting rid of like that is the first book in the Firefly book spin-off series. So this is Big Damn Hero by James Lovegrove. This is a book series based on the TV show Firefly. I have read this first one. I do own the second one. One of the reasons I'm getting rid of it is, let me see if I can show you. I had them both in paperback, but they do not match up. I know it's only a little bit, but they do not match up on my shelf, and it irritates me. And I'm not going to be getting them all in hardback because that feels like more effort. And to be honest, it's not the sort of thing that I need to have on my shelf. I am still planning on reading at least the second one, partly just because it has Jane on the cover, and I feel like that's going to be an interesting story. But I really don't think I need a collection of these on my shelves, so I'm just going to get rid of the first one now, and I'll probably unhaul this one after I have eventually read it. And then the last stack of books that I have to talk about are books that I have read, and most of them sort of enjoyed enough but not enough to keep on my shelves. So we will quickly go through these ones because you probably already heard me talk about them. Actually, let's maybe talk about them in sort of like the order that I read them, because they're sort of the earlier ones are the ones that I probably haven't talked about on this channel. This one I definitely read before I started doing this channel. It is Little and Lion by Brandy Corbett. I again remembered enjoying this one, but it's not something I ever see myself rereading, and it's just kind of taking up space on my shelves at this point. Again, as I said with a lot of these, like I will be getting rid of them in ways that like other people can then read them after, so hopefully someone will end up actually really enjoying this who gets it afterwards. I then have got Birthday by Meredith Russo. Again, one that I remember enjoying at the time, but it's not one that I sort of need to have on my shelves. Like I look at it and I'm like, why is that there? So I'm just going to get rid of it now. Then we have one where actually, this is sort of the opposite to some of the others, where I have like liked but not loved their earlier books, but I'm keeping the later one in hope that I like it. These next two actually are me sort of being strict of not just keeping things because I'm a completionist. So I have had this tendency to sort of buy all the books by an author, and then even if there's ones that I don't necessarily love, I keep them just because I like having like their entire collection. And I've realised, why am I keeping books that I don't love on my shelves? So for this one, it is Nicola Yoon's Instructions for Dancing. I really liked Everything Everything and The Sun Is Also a Star, and I did not enjoy this one. I gave it 3 stars. It was like not an awful book, but just very disappointing compared to how much I loved her other books. And it does kind of like upset me when I look at that on my shelves, because I'm like, oh, that one was such a letdown. So why am I keeping it? Why am I keeping it with the other 2 that I really liked? Why not just keep the 2 that I really liked? And then in the same vein, actually, it's partly by the same author, is Blackout. So this is a collection of stories by 6 authors. So it's Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Ashley Woodfolk, Angie Thomas and Nicola Yoon. I kept this because I had books by some of the authors that are featured in this, and I sort of kept it on the shelf with those. You've already seen that I've got rid of books by a couple of these authors in the video, and whilst I enjoyed this at the time, I'm never going to reread it. It doesn't need to be on my shelves just because I wanted sort of like a complete collection. So I might as well get rid of it. And then we have 2 that I've definitely talked about because I read them within the last year. So I know that I think I spoke about these in the recent wrap-up video I did, sort of catching up my reading from September to the end of the year. And both of them just did not love as much as I hoped to. So I'm going to get rid of them. First one being Double Booked by Lily Linden. This one was fine. Just, that's all I can say about it. It was fine. I don't need it taking up space on my shelves because it was fine. And then this next one, I've already spoke about how I've read a couple of books by this author and I've just figured out that they're not actually an author for me. I did own 2 books by this author. I've given one to Meg because she didn't have it and she does want to read it. The other one she already has, so I am instead just going to be getting rid of it some other way, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Like I said, I really tried to love this author. I've read 2 books now and found out their writing is just not for me, so there is no reason for this to stay in the house. And then the last ones that I'm going to show is a complete series that I am unhauling, which like pains me to unhaul these slightly, but this is also kind of what made me do the unhaul video, because I was just like, you know, I don't want these on my shelves. I should like preface this by saying that I am actually keeping a set of this series. I am just very much not needing 2 sets of this series in my house at the minute because the ending of this series disappointed me, and I feel like some of you can possibly guess what this is. Like some of my friends in particular can guess what this is. You may also notice that there is a shelf behind me that has like quite a big gap here, and that is because that is where this series has come from. I should point out that if you look at that shelf, it looks like I only have 2 of this series and I'm about to unhaul. I do have the 3rd one. Becca currently has my copy, and that is the copy that I will be keeping because I'm going to be getting rid of the Fairy Loot editions of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Is that what it's called? Does it have another name? The Stephanie Garber series that has recently concluded with A Curse of True Love, and that is the reason why I'm getting rid of these books. I really enjoyed the first 2 books in this series. I think I gave them both 5 stars. So Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After, I gave both of them 5 stars. I will say, I think Ballad of Never After, I think it sort of redeemed itself with the ending. Like I feel like I was getting a bit lost in that one already, and then the ending made me go, oh no, actually I'm really enjoying this. And then A Curse of True Love tried to do a similar thing, in all fairness. Like the ending was good, but everything leading up to that point, I was just, it just felt like we were just plodding along a lot, and just that it took a good over 100 pages for my favourite character to make a reappearance, even though it is supposed to be their series. Made no sense to me whatsoever, and I very much did not like how this was executed at all, and this was a 2-star read for me. It was so disappointing. So there is no reason for me to have 2 copies of this series on my shelves. I'm keeping the one for now because I am a completionist. I've managed to defeat it a little bit earlier on in this video. Let's not like get carried away with ourselves and expect me to do it for everything, but I do like having like my Stephanie Garber books because I do really like the Caraval series. But I'm just going to keep my standard 1st edition UK. So they still got like the pretty hidden covers that came on the 1st editions. Maybe I'm going to get rid of a set. I feel like it makes sense to get rid of the Fairy Loot ones because obviously these are the prettier ones. They would look nice on my shelves. But also I feel like that would just cause me more pain because it's like, look how much money you spent on these and then did not like them. So these will hopefully be going to a good home. I hope that someone does enjoy them. Plenty of people do. I have also seen plenty of people disappointed with the last book in the series though, so it's not just me. It's not just a me thing, but yeah, I'm gonna be getting rid of those and just having my standard editions, which like I said, I do have them all, but Becca does have my third one at the minute. I do need to actually do a bit of a reorganisation of these shelves because I just took everything off yesterday and there's like gaps there, but there is also like a full shelf further down that has nothing on it, and I just want to sort of rearrange because these ones here are supposed to be like my favourites, and it kind of ended up getting away from that and just being what would fit. So that is a task for me to do coming up, but you don't really need to know that. This is the end of the unhaul. That is everything I'm going to be unhauling at the minute. I haven't actually gone through my subscription box shelves, so there possibly will be a part 2 of this coming next month, but for now I think this is enough. It's about 30 books that I'm getting rid of, so I think this is enough. So that is everything. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. If you do want to try and convince me to keep some of these, I'm probably not going to listen, but do feel free to try, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.